no way that Bob Dylan thinks that NGK is Timothy Chalamet.
All right, we done messing around on set? On our phones? On set?
All right, it's rolling.
It's rolling, and we're on our phones.
Let's do this.
Hey! Welcome back to Raiders Daily at Night with your gracious, loving, always got a smile on my face host, of course. Great week to be a Raiders fan, right? A lot of exciting things, a lot of news, a lot of free agency draft. And that's one thing I kind of wanted to look at. The Raiders are very infamous, not really being able to put a team together. Free agency fails. Draft fails. So I wanted to look at today 5 free agency fails from the Raiders. I wanted to start off with a couple honorable mentions, right? Gardner Minshew. A lot of people, their first instinct is to go to last season. Gardner Minshew obviously didn't pan out, right? And people were like, oh, we gave him a big contract. It was 2 years, $25 million. Okay? What he gave us, that's not that expensive. That's not putting us in a hole. Second honorable mention, I wanted to talk about Jakob Johnson. Josh McDaniels wanted to bring in this fullback, wanted to help this running game. I love it. But why are we bringing in a new fullback when we already have Alec Ingold? He was one of the best blocking fullbacks in the league. He really helped Josh Jacobs Jr., and I was really hoping to see that kind of back tandem, that little duo, continue to grow. But first off, Jimmy Garoppolo. That is a free agency fail from the Josh McDaniels scheme. Once again, we gave this guy 3 years, $72 million. $72 million, okay? Not to mention, you let Derek Carr just walk. You just released him. You didn't get nothing for him. You didn't have this great farewell tour for this guy who's been a quarterback, a cornerstone of this team for years and years and years. No, just send him off and bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, who was hurt, who failed his physical, who shouldn't have even been on the team. They shouldn't have allowed him to put pen to paper. And they gave him a little contract, okay? Number 2. Chandler Jones, Josh McDaniels, once again. Chandler Jones coming off an okay year with the Cardinals. We said, you know what? You're old. You're washed up. We'll give you 3 years, $51 million. $51 million. And you know what he did in 2021? He had 4.5 sacks, 38 combined tackles. He had that one play against the Patriots, intercepted Jacoby Myers and stiff-arm Mac Jones to the house. That was the most exciting thing he did his whole Raiders tenure. Oh, wait, no, I'm forgetting. He went crazy on Instagram Live the next season. He was nude on Instagram Live. There's a picture, there's a video of Chandler Jones nude on Instagram Live. And then he got arrested. And we gave him $51 million. Didn't really work out. Didn't pan out. Third guy, Corey Littleton. That went back to the John Gruden era. This guy was undrafted free agent, was balling out with the Rams, was balling out for Wade Phillips, right? A great defense coordinator. One Pro Bowl season, okay, a pretty decent season. And John Gruden goes, Corey Littleton, I'm ready to give you $35 million for 3 years. Okay, and that's what he did. And Corey Littleton was a subpar linebacker for 2 years, and then he got released. Played in a scheme in LA, 4-3. That really helped him out in LA, and he fit that scheme well. He goes to the Raiders, playing under Paul Guenther, in a defensive scheme that is not fit for him. So what do? We get Gus Bradley, another defensive coordinator, running a 3-4 scheme. It doesn't work out. Oh, I got nothing but love for Corey Littleton, right? He's just not that good. Tyrell Williams, another John Gruden signing. And I'll give him a little bit of grace here. I think the intention was for him to be wide receiver 2, which he was a great wide receiver 2. That's about it. We had the intention of having Antonio Brown as our wide receiver 1, Tyrell Williams, that little 1-2 punch, right? And that would have worked. And Tyrell Williams had a pretty decent season with the Raiders. And then he got hurt. And then he didn't play another football game for 2 years for a different team. And we gave him 4 years and $44 million. And lastly, one last little John Gruden specialty, really top it off. And you know what? It's defense. LaMarcus Joyner, okay, another guy from the Rams. I felt like we just saw the Rams having success and we're like, yeah, can we just have those guys? Not the scheme that they're playing in, not the position that we're putting these players in to succeed. Let me just have the player. And we're going to have Corey Littleton play in a 3-4 defense, and we're going to have LaMarcus Joyner, a great safety for the Rams. We're going to put him at slot cornerback. Oh, and it's not working? Just keep him there. Maybe he'll figure it out. He didn't figure it out. We gave him 4 years, $42 million. John Gruden, what are we doing? The one thing that we can kind of be hopeful for as Raiders fans is we have a guy like John Spytek, Pete Carroll at the helm. With all these moves, a lot of it's big names, big ideas, but they don't really amount to much because we're not putting pieces around them. We're not putting in schemes that are going to help them be successful. I have faith that John Spytek and Pete Carroll can kind of navigate this free agency, put guys in place so that they'll succeed, find guys that'll fit our scheme. But the second part of the offseason is the draft. I've been doing my homework on these guys, put together a little mock draft. And in every mock draft I've done, Shedeur Sanders has went number 2, number 3, sometimes number 1. But a lot of the kind of draft buzz is about his attitude. He's not wanting to throw at the combine, which I think is very funny because the combine is just underwear athletics. It's just these guys being judged by their mechanics, by throwing with receivers they don't really know. When we have 3-4 years of college tape on them, I feel like the 4 years of college tape should amount to more than what these guys are throwing at the combine, right? You see Will Howard struggling at the combine. Okay, yeah, he's not going to be the most accurate passer, okay? He's not going to be the best quarterback. He's not going to have the best mechanics, okay? You're not drafting Will Howard for how deep he can throw the ball. You're drafting a guy like Will Howard for his ability to process, find open receivers, work within a scheme, work within an offensive system. This is not a guy who's going to wow you, who's going to be this Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, super athlete, super freak. Everybody's freaking out because he didn't throw at the combine. But I don't think he's going to wow you with his athleticism. And I don't think he needs to. The biggest strength in his game is his ability to process defenses, ability to find receivers within a system. He might not be an elite quarterback. He might not be an MVP caliber, first team All-Pro, but he's probably better than Aiden O'Connell, probably better than Gardner Minshew, and that's what you're looking at. And maybe drafting him at 6 is a bit of a reach, but I'm willing to reach for better quarterback play. I know I've been kind of the biggest proponent of going best player available, and I think that's what you do in a draft. But also, when you got a guy like Shedeur Sanders, a good quarterback, but when you got a guy who you know is probably going to be a quality quarterback in this league, staring you dead in the face at 6, it's hard not to take him. Because I think Raiders fans should know how hard it is to come by a quality quarterback. To come by a quarterback who's young, has a lot of potential, who has the ability to be a great player in this league. Then with my second round pick, I went Jahad Campbell. Okay, I don't think he'll be there at the second, but he was looking dead at it. I think he would be a great linebacker to pair with Robert Spillane and maybe even a Dre Greenlaw if we get him in free agency. Then I went running back, Travion Henderson, Ohio State. Got that Chip Kelly connection, right? One thing that I would maybe do different in this draft, I would probably double dip on running backs. I think this class is very, very deep on running backs. I think you can get playmakers deep in this draft, and I don't see why we wouldn't double dip at a position where our running back 1 right now is Alexander Madison, Zamir White. Then I went D tackle. Then I went wide receiver. Once again, I think this is a draft where you could get a good quality wide receiver. I think our offensive line, I think it's serviceable. I think you got guys like Jackson Powers-Johnson, DJ Glaze, Colton Miller, obviously, who are really going to help kind of keep this offensive line together. Those are the glue guys. But I think this offensive line is solid. I think what really hurt us last year was not having skill position players. We had Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers for like half the season, and that's it. A lot of people are kind of going in on me in the comments, though, saying, oh, you should just wait till the second to get Jackson Dart. That's hoping that Jackson Dart falls to the second. We got pick 6 and 37. I guarantee Jackson Dart's going to go in between there. I don't know who. I don't know where. I guarantee he's going to go there. Maybe it's Cleveland. Maybe Cleveland opts to go for a guy like an Abdul Carter. And then in the second round, they get their guy, Jackson Dart. Maybe it's Tennessee. I think it's very hopeful to think that Jackson Dart's going to fall to us in the second round. I think if you have a guy like Shedeur Sanders looking you dead in the eye at 6, you got to take him. You're telling me right now, if Shedeur Sanders is right there at 6, Tom Brady's in that draft room, this kid he's been worked out with in Florida, really helped him become the player who he is today. Go and get a Justin Fields in free agency. Get a Sam Darnold, a bridge quarterback, somebody who can give you some quality starts while Shedeur Sanders is sitting there on the bench learning, processing, seeing how this offense really flows, and then halfway through the season, get Shedeur in there, let him start balling out. But that's my thoughts, Raider Nation. Let me know what you think. Would you take Shedeur Sanders right there? Would you take a guy like Will Johnson instead? Maybe a Mason Graham? Let me know. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Raiders Daily at Night. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Stop.